morning, my name is Josh from CyclonesOZ, and here is your latest weather forecast update for Wednesday, the 25th of June 2025. I'm reporting from you back in Perth today after a 2,000 kilometre drive from Streaky Bay to Perth last night. Plenty of weather to be talking about around the southeast of the nation this morning. That major weather system that's moved through the Great Australian Bight has moved through the Bass Strait now and into the Tasman Sea, and it's bringing up a whole host of winter weather through Tasmania, Victoria and into parts of New South Wales. Plenty of showers and storms to be talking about there, plus plenty of showers and storms to also be talking about for the New South Wales northeast coast. Rainfall on the way for far north Queensland, and also a little bit of rainfall coming in for southwest and western Australia. The weather scene remaining busy as we head in towards late June. All the details on this plus more coming up in today's weather forecast. If you're brand new to the channel, please do consider subscribing, but let's get stuck straight into things today with the scene over in southeastern Australia. Like I said, plenty of showers and storms moving through. In fact, some of these showers are quite heavy and definitely packing a punch in terms of the wind and the rainfall side of things, especially for the southwestern coast of Victoria. Winds right now are averaging between 60 to 80 kilometres an hour across the south coast of Victoria, especially when we're talking about embedded showers moving through. Winds are spiking quite high. Over the higher peaks, wind gusts are a little bit more tame compared to where they have been over the last couple of days. We've still got some very strong wind gusts, though, into some of the higher elevations, but the worst of the conditions are, of course, remaining around the coastline. Hogan Island taking the cake this morning with winds out of the west of 84 kilometres an hour sustained. They're likely gusting up to about 110 or 115 kilometres an hour this morning, with no sign of them easing off at least for another couple of hours. Same deal with Tasmania as well. It is a wet, stormy and windy scene. This is true winter weather coming through for southeastern Australia. Certainly something that a lot of people are going to be very excited for, especially because they have gone quite a few weeks now without a good winter storm across southeastern Australia. Looks like the software's been quite slow this morning, and also the fact that the rainfall through western Victoria is definitely much needed and very much being welcomed with open arms this morning. Rainfall is expected to continue into this afternoon and this evening, especially through the southwest coast of Victoria and then into the mountainous regions around the eastern side of Victoria and into the southeast corner of New South Wales. On top of the rainfall that fell yesterday around Canberra and Captain's Flat, which was quite significant. In fact, Thredbo ended up with about 110 millimetres of rainfall in the gauge on top of the snowfall that fell in that region. So some very healthy rainfall accumulations and some very healthy snowfall accumulations. We're expecting this rainfall to continue into the coming couple of hours, easing through this afternoon and clearing by later on this evening across New South Wales and contracting, all the showers at least contracting into the southeast coast of Victoria through this afternoon and this evening, and then clearing through much of Victoria, just kind of contracting into that Gippsland region coastline through tonight and into early tomorrow morning. The conditions are actually going to ease surprisingly quickly from where they are right now. I know we're now starting to get into the afternoon hours across the southeast of Australia, which means the weather is going to be clearing very shortly, and these showers will be very quick to get out of here. And we're expecting by later on this evening and into early tomorrow morning, pretty much all of the significant severe weather will be all but gone. Now, as this low-pressure system draws away from the southeast corner of Australia, it is, as I'm sure everybody is feeling right now, pulling in some extremely cold air from the southeast and the south. That's keeping temperatures very cold this morning across much of Victoria, especially through the mountainous regions, but also just generally speaking through Victoria. Melbourne Airport right now, 7 degrees as we get in towards the late morning hours across Tasmania as well. Temperatures not rising above 7 or 8 across much of the island, and in fact, temperatures are a lot colder as you get away from the coastline. In fact, around Strathgord and Mount Wellington looking at 2 degrees right now, so it definitely is very, very cold indeed across Tasmania. Same deal with the southern parts of New South Wales as well. It is a little bit more mild as you get further north, but still temperatures very cold across much of New South Wales, especially in the interior regions. Slightly more mild across South Australia. It looks like the significant severe weather conditions are now beginning to ease out of there, but expecting a very cold night tonight and into early tomorrow morning. In fact, temperatures expected to be in that kind of deep freeze thresholds. The European forecast model suggesting an overnight minimum of about -9 degrees around Thredbo and Perisher Valley. I kind of believe that it might get a little bit colder than that. In fact, the convective forecast model suggesting temperatures to even dip down to about -10 or even -11 degrees into some of the mountainous valleys up there. So it is going to be brutally cold across those higher elevations, slightly more milder across some of the lower lying regions, but still close to zero, if not below zero, and plenty of locations as well through the Great Dividing Range, the Blue Mountains and the Snow Mountains expecting to be well below freezing later on tonight, especially once you get above 600 or 700 meters. Temperatures are expected to be very, very cold indeed. It certainly is a significant severe weather system pulling away from the southeast corner of Australia right now and heading over towards New Zealand, which is expecting a bit of a hiding over the course of later this week from this weather system. It really has been quite a vicious front, but as you can see, the worst of the weather is now starting to pull away from the southeast corner of Australia, and conditions are going to slowly get better over the next couple of hours before they quickly get better later on this afternoon and into this evening. It really has been a significant severe weather event, that's for sure. Plenty of reports of damaging winds, plenty of call-outs to the state emergency services, so make sure you are staying staying safe. It is not over yet, but it looks like the worst has now moved into the past, which is, I guess, some good news and some relief for the southeast corner of New South Wales. For the southeast corner of Australia, I mean. New South Wales, though, is where we're going to be keeping things, especially up into the mid-north coast and into the northeast. We are expecting some rainfall to develop into the Tasman Sea, and forecast models are still not 100% sure what to make of it, but we are expecting showers to develop across the northern coasts through late June and into early July. We're just expecting that kind of southerly flow to continue pumping those showers up. They're going to continue to pick up through tomorrow afternoon and into Friday and Saturday. In fact, we could be seeing falls up to 50 millimetres between Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday before that rainfall does temporarily clear out through Sunday night into early Monday morning. Then it looks like rainfall is going to return in an almost tropical manner here. We're going to see that westerly flow coming in from the Coral Sea, a bit of an unusual weather pattern for this time of the year, but that's likely to meet up with a low pressure system, and this moisture here is going to fuel an outbreak of showers and rainfall into the northeast and the central coast of New South Wales. We're also expecting some pretty significant low pressure system material to develop into the Tasman Sea as well, but whether that's going to develop into an east coast low and be a problem for the east coast of Australia, especially through New South Wales, which the European forecast model is really thinking is going to be a problem through the 1st and the 2nd of July. It's still a little bit too uncertain at this point in time to really make out what exactly is going to be happening. But if you're a follower of the European forecast and you think that their word is gospel, then you've really got some problems and some pretty big fish to fry across the Sydney coast and then into the mid-north coast and the Hunter region coastline. This is a brute of an east coast low developing here. Thankfully, we do have some discrepancies between the major forecast models, which means that this situation here is rapidly developing and quite an uncertain one at this point in time. I do expect a low pressure system to develop into the last day of June or into the first couple of days of July. Definitely early next week, we're expecting some kind of low pressure system fueled by moisture coming in from Queensland's southeast, and then some moisture also coming in from the west over the Coral and the Tasman Seas. At this point in time, though, full-blown east coast low development can't be expected, and we really don't know the specifics at this point in time. What does this mean for you if you're on the New South Wales mid-north coast, Hunter region or metro coastlines? At this point in time, there's nothing to be worrying about. There certainly is now kind of a situation where you should be watching the forecast quite closely, especially for early next week, where a low pressure system is forecast to develop. And if we do see one develop, we're going to be talking about some pretty significant rainfall accumulations, especially if it does so right on the coastline and stays there for a couple of hours or days. We could be talking about rainfall accumulations up to 300 or 400 millimetres in a region of New South Wales that, let's face it, does not need another drop of rainfall, not at least for another couple of months. So this rainfall here could be a little bit of a concern. It could be a bit of a problem, but again, we're still ironing out the details on the forecast models, given that there are some discrepancies between the major forecast modeling models at this point in time, the European, the GFS and the ICON. It is still probably a little bit too early to tell for sure. The one trend that I have noticed with the GFS and the ICON is that the rainfall is situated either a little bit further north and a little bit further out to sea. The axis, not so much. That's kind of calling for a very similar situation to what the European forecast is calling. So right now we've got that kind of even split between the bullish models, the axis and the European, and the more conservative models, the GFS and the ICON. Which interpretation you want to take at this point in time is kind of a coin flip. It's a random guess in what case is going to be right at this point in time. It is probably still a little bit too early to tell exactly what's going to be happening for the New South Wales central coastline. My best advice right now is to watch but don't act. Keep an eye on the forecast for early next week. We should have some answers tomorrow or Friday morning at the latest, so still plenty of time to be kind of in the know and in the loop of this weather event here, but certainly could be a bit of a significant one and one to be keeping an eye on at this point in time, especially on the forecast over the next couple of days. Now to the northern reaches of Queensland. We don't have any rainfall up there this morning, a bit of a change over the last couple of days. We've been seeing some showers coming in out of the southeast pretty consistently over the last couple of days. Typical weather for this time of the year, but still pesky rainfall that's kind of preventing the onset of the dry season. The rainfall forecast is now a little bit more disappointing than compared to where it was over the last couple of days, but you can still see 14-day rainfall accumulations between 50 to 100 millimetres of pockets of the Cassowary Coast and into the Daintree rainforest. And what's going to be coming of that? Well, it's just going to be that southeasterly flow over the next couple of days. Showers coming through from the southeast here and there, nothing too heavy, nothing too crazy, nothing severe, that's for sure, and nothing that's going to be causing flooding for far north Queensland or even north or central Queensland. It's just going to be that pesky, miserable weather coming out of the southeast, which is keeping those winds fresh and those temperatures down and preventing far north Queensland from really getting the sunshine that they're known for at this time of the year. So I guess it's more annoying weather than it is significant severe weather, but it is always worth talking about up in far north Queensland, just because even a little bit of rainfall on the forecast can turn south quite quickly. Just know that that moisture will continue to pile in from the southeast, but conditions should dry up into the first week of July. Fingers crossed, at least. That's what the forecast models are suggesting right now. That's going to do it for northern and eastern Australia. Panning things over now into the southwest of Western Australia. It has been a bit of a cooler start. Plenty of fog across the southeast. In fact, you can make it out on the satellite imagery right now. Massive swathes of fog across the southwestern wheat belt. And plenty of fog now extending across parts of the lower west as well. It definitely has been a bit of a cold start as well. Temperatures down into the low single digits across much of southwest and western Australia's wheatbelt region. A little bit more milder into the Perth metro area, but still pretty cold this morning. Temperatures into the mid single digits and the high single digits as you get closer to the coastline. It is going to be a fine rest of the week. Good news, because we were talking about a bit of rainfall coming in earlier on in the week, especially on the forecast later on into this week for the Perth metro area. It looks like that rainfall is going to come through from a weak cold front that's going to get kind of caught up into a bit of a slow-moving cold front system tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening, which could deliver 25 millimetres to pretty much only the southwest Capes and into the south coastal region. So areas between Yallingup down through Margaret River, Augusta, and then down towards Albany could be looking at between 10 to 25 or even up towards 35 millimetres of rainfall through tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon from a very slow-moving rain band that's going to develop. Rainfall will continue through Friday and into Saturday, but apart from that, everywhere else away from the coastline and up into the Perth metro area, looking at fine and sunny conditions and also very stable and calm conditions as well. And that's going to continue through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday looking dry as well before the rainfall returns next week, Wednesday and Thursday, the 2nd and 3rd of July respectively, from what looks to be quite a strong cold front coming in with plenty of moisture being dragged down from the northwest as well. We could get a northwest cloud band developing out of this system as well. I think that's worth mentioning, and that could deliver some healthy rainfall accumulations to the central west and into the northwest regions as well, up into the Gascoyne and the Murchison region. At this point in time, still a little bit too early to tell exactly what the specifics are going to be, but if this system does make the most of the very warm sea temperatures offshore from the southwest and western Australia, we will definitely see a bit of a rainfall problem developing across much of the southwest. So again, definitely something worth keeping an eye on at this point in time, but it is kind of a case of watch but don't act again. This is very typical rainfall and very typical weather for the southwest at this point in time for this year. It'll probably be one of the 5 strongest cold fronts that we see each year, especially in terms of a rainfall perspective. It looks like there's going to be plenty of the stuff to be talking about, and even the winds could get quite strong, especially north of Perth up through Jurien Bay and up towards Geraldton. But again, we're looking at between 30 to 50 millimetres here at a maximum, which is very good rainfall, and we'll welcome that with open arms. It also looks like the rainfall is going to make it quite far into the wheatbelt as well. It depends on how far inland you are, but it looks like some good rainfall accumulations could make it right across out through Great Eastern Highway and for locations south of that, which is some very good news indeed. Rainfall accumulations in the next couple of days, as you can see across the southwest, that rain band that's going to come through and sit over the southwest Capes through tomorrow afternoon could deliver 25 to 30 millimetres, as I said, around Margaret River and down towards Augusta. But again, don't expect any rainfall further north of about Busselton, and only a couple of drops of rainfall expected there. It's going to be a pretty interesting weather system, all things considered. Not something we see every year, that's for sure. Just that slow-moving rain band that kind of sits in these locations for a period of time. The winds will be calm. It's not going to feel like a cold front. And then that rainfall again piping up as we get out towards early July. This is 7-day rainfall accumulations from the 1st out to the 7th of July, and you can see up to 100 millimetres expected across parts of the south coast. The heaviest falls, of course, around the south coastal region between Busselton down to Albany, where up to 125 millimetres is on the cards, but between 75 to 125 millimetres also on the cards of the coast between Busselton up through Bunbury, Mandurah and Perth, and about as far north as about Lancelin or Two Rocks at this point in time. Rainfall accumulations further inland will be a little bit more disappointing, but still parts of the western wheatbelt expecting between 25 to 50 millimetres of rainfall, and then between 10 to 25 millimetres expected to extend out through the remainder of the wheatbelt out to about Southern Cross and Lake King. Rainfall accumulations further out will be a couple of millimetres at best at this point in time, but definitely Wednesday, Thursday could be a wet couple of days. We could be talking about some pretty serious rainfall accumulations, even for this time of the year across the southwest and especially through the Perth metro area, getting July off to a good start on the rainfall side of things, much like how June was. But that's going to do it for today around the Australian world of weather. Plenty of stuff to be talking about still over the next couple of days. Weather systems galore across the southeast, that's for sure, and it looks like those weather systems in New South Wales could cause some problems. If you're wondering, my voice sounds a little bit shaken up. I fell asleep at about 2 o'clock this morning and have woken up again just a couple of minutes before I started recording this, so I do apologise in advance for this. But from this point onwards, I'm now back in Perth after my 9 or 10 day trip. I think it was closer to 10 days. It was going to be a little bit longer, but we didn't make it out towards Queensland because of the rainfall resulting in road closures, and that was a bit of a shame, but again, it would have been impassable, so no big deal. But general weather updates are expected to continue every day from this point onwards, so make sure you are subscribed and leave a like on the video while you're at it as well. That's going to do it for me today, and I'll catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.